Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and gives this video a thumbs up. Grant Ellis' choice between Litia Garr and Juliana Pasquarosa came down to the wire on the Bachelor season 29 finale, but I believe his heart ultimately guided him in the correct route. After failing to develop meaningful connections throughout the season, Grant fell in love with both ladies before the finale in the Dominican Republic. In a nail-biting climax, he continued to mull over his decision in the hours leading up to the final rose ceremony. Juliana and Litia could not be more different. Juliana was fun-loving and candid about her insecurities, whereas Litia was unshakable in her support for Grant and belief in their future together. Grant appears to have discovered his answer after his father told him to follow his heart. Although Litia had all Grant wanted in a marriage, he startled her by telling her, "I'm not your person." As Grant and Juliana celebrated their engagement, Litia's sadness led to criticism of Grant's handling of their relationship. Litia went into the last rose ceremony full of hope, and it was devastating to see her hopes dashed. But I was startled by the dramatic shift in her demeanor during her talk with Grant. Litia's tone changed, and her sarcastic facial expressions indicated that she questioned everything Grant told her. As Grant tried to let her down, Litia glanced at him sideways and told him he wasn't who she thought he was. Throughout the 29th season of The Bachelor, Litia was always gentle, soft-spoken, and careful with her comments. She was understandably heartbroken by Grant's rejection, but her reaction exposed a new side to her nature. Litia seemed like a completely different person during her final conversation with Grant. Her ability to alter so fast made me wonder if her friendliness had always been an act, one she abandoned when the curtain was pulled. Litia explained her disappointment with Grant's decision in the After the Final Rose program. She claimed he had led her all season, assuring her she was the one for him. The day before the final rose ceremony, Grant and Litia supposedly talked about their impending engagement. Litia was taken aback by his engagement to Juliana, saying, "I felt like I got the rug pulled out from under me." Grant was a faulty lead, and he should never have let Litia have such high hopes. However, Litia's allegations against Grant appeared to contradict the concept of The Bachelor. She had to have known he was exploring his feelings for other women at the same time, and Litia should never have assumed an engagement was a guarantee. By blaming Grant totally for her hurt sentiments, she is not being fair to him or the show's process. I believe Litia's resentment of Grant goes deeper than her love for him. Litia, a Mormon, was adamant in her view that her calling was to be a mother. She missed out on Grant and the possibility to create a family with him. Although the two were obviously in love, I believe Litia's primary purpose was to find a father for her children, which clouded her capacity to realize the uncertainty of their connection. Grant struggled with indecision during his time on The Bachelor and does not seem to do well under pressure. Litia made matters worse by asking him to commit to her and accelerating his family planning timeline. Juliana, on the other hand, understood Grant's desire to take things slowly, making her a better match for him. Litia and Grant had very different ideas about their future, and the pressure she put on him sealed her fate. Grant Ellis, a 31-year-old entrepreneur from Salt Lake City, had lived a life filled with highs and lows. As the lead on season 29 of The Bachelor, he was thrust into an environment where the world watched his every move. Despite his charming persona, handsome looks, and well-built career, Grant was not immune to the struggles that came with being in the public eye. More than that, he was a man who often questioned himself, struggled with indecision, and found it difficult to make bold choices. As the final rose ceremony of the season loomed, Grant found himself caught between two incredibly different women, Litia Garr and Juliana Pasquarosa. His emotions, once clear-cut and filled with excitement, had now been clouded by confusion, guilt, and doubt. The entire season, Grant had been searching for something deeper than just attraction, a genuine connection that would pave the way for a lasting relationship. But the further he ventured into the journey, the more unsure he became about his feelings for both Litia and Juliana. Litia had always been steady and composed throughout the season. A woman of faith, her values and principles were apparent from the beginning. She was kind-hearted, intelligent, and unshakably supportive of Grant. Her words were measured, her demeanor gentle, and her belief in their future together unwavering. Litia's sincerity was one of the main reasons Grant was drawn to her, but over time, it became clear that she wanted more than just love. She wanted a commitment, a future that involved a family, and a clear path forward. However, as the weeks wore on, Grant realized that the pressure Litia was placing on him might not have been what he truly needed. While her vision of family life and motherhood aligned with the kind of life many people would dream of, it felt too fast for Grant. He was caught in the whirlwind of the show, still unsure if he was ready to take the leap into something as significant as marriage, especially with someone he hadn't known for long. Litia's certainty about their future was a comfort, but it also triggered his own self-doubt. Their connection had always been strong, but Grant realized that it wasn't as organic as he had once thought. There was a part of him that was drawn to the idea of stability, but another part that wanted something more spontaneous, more carefree. That was where Juliana came in. The fun and free-spirited Juliana. Juliana was an enigma. A vivacious, fun-loving woman with an infectious laugh and an unapologetically candid attitude, she represented everything that was the opposite of Litia. While Litia exuded quiet strength and an air of mystery, Juliana wore her heart on her sleeve. She was playful and, at times, a bit of a wild card, nothing like the reserved and composed Litia. What stood out about Juliana was her openness about her insecurities. She wasn't afraid to admit her vulnerabilities, whether it was regarding her past relationships or her fears of not being good enough. Juliana's honesty had a rawness to it that appealed to Grant. She was unafraid to face the ugly truths about herself and was searching for someone who could embrace her imperfections. It was this authenticity that made her a refreshing contrast to Litia's more polished, idealized image of what a partner should be. In the Dominican Republic, the location of the final rose ceremony, Grant found himself caught between two extremes. He admired Litia's strength and determination, but with Juliana, he could let his guard down. He didn't feel pressured to make decisions too quickly or to define their future in the span of a few short weeks. Juliana allowed him the space to be himself, to explore the possibility of a relationship without overwhelming him with expectations. Ceremony approached, Grant's heart raced. The emotional weight of the decision was crushing. He had spent weeks with these women, getting to know them, but the question of whether he could choose one over the other still felt impossible. His conversations with both women had been intense, filled with moments of clarity and doubt. Every word spoken seemed to carry an additional weight, as though their futures were hanging in the balance of his decisions. As the ceremony began, the tension in the air was palpable. Grant, standing in front of Litia and Juliana, felt the weight of the world on his shoulders. He had fallen in love with both women in his own way, but he knew deep down that only one could be his future. The question of whether his decision would be right for him, or for the women he was about to break the hearts of, haunted him. Thanks for watching. If you likes this video, do not forget to subscribe to my channel and do not miss any update.